Mala Sudha Kumbha Vibodha Mudra Vidyavirajat Karavarichata Apara Karunya Sudhamburashim Shri Sharadambam Pranatosmi Nityam. My dear colleagues and friends of the Adhivakta Parishad of the Odisha branch, President Mr. Ajit Patnaik, Vice President Sri Panda, my good friend Debashish. Odisha Bar is so close to my heart, which I have always said when I have spoken to Odisha Bar, because once I got designated in February 2006, the first court I visited outside Chennai, which welcomed me, was Odisha Bar on 10th March 2006. So I have a long association and relationship with Odisha Bar. And of course, after becoming ASG, I couldn't come there. I'm eagerly waiting for an opportunity sooner or later. And this talk is directed towards the young bar members. That's the request Debussy made. And therefore, I thought I should certainly take this opportunity to speak to the young minds of India, their aspirations, their hopes, and their surprises. See, the aspiration of any young child will be to become big. And it's a natural, perfect, legitimate aspiration. In whichever field he or she wants to be, he or she wants to be the best in that field. So your aspiration should be that. Is there a hope to reach that aspiration? Yes. Your aspirations can get fulfilled. So, what are the way to get our aspirations fulfilled? And what are the surprises which we are likely to confront in our lives? Now, for any youngster in the country today, or even outside the country, all over the world, youngsters have one big mental block. You are very well educated. You can think, you can reason out, you can speak with conviction and understanding things which we would not have thought of at your age. So this generation is a much more evolved generation. But you have one disillusionment which is common. You are all coming from colleges and you are young children. So you are yet to experience the fluctuations of the world. So young from the pan, your expectation is world has to be, in a realistic sense, very true, very good, and it has to do us justice, as we want to be part of the system. But look at the real-time world. It shows people who commit atrocities, people who are not straightforward, people who are not very truthful, are enjoying life and are in good positions. So the doubt that runs into your mind is, what should be the path we need to follow in realizing our hopes? So the immediate answer anyone will give is, live with the world, understand the reality of the world, and move with the world and do just what world wants you to do. That's a practical answer, and also possibly a realistic answer also. But is this template a very successful template in the long run? I'll just cite two examples. There was a village headman who decided that there is a sudden shortage of milk to be distributed. So he decided to call all the villagers and said, we are going to place a huge vessel in the central place of the village with a lid on it. We request each one of you to pour a tumbler of milk into that pot, so that once the vessel gets filled up, we will be able to distribute it to the needy, because there is a shortage. We want all the villagers to partake. So one man decided, after all, if you mix milk with water, who is going to see? So let's pour water, because somebody else will pour milk. So nobody can find out that we have poured water. So the neighbor thinks, very well, my neighbor may pour milk, so why not I pour water? So after 3 hours, when the time gets over, the headman comes to the central spot and opens up the lid, and to his shock, sees the whole vessel is filled only with water and not a drop of milk. So the message, the moral of the story is your way of life dependent on how the others replicate it or live it? So if everyone is going to go the wrong way, where will we end up? We will just end up like the village headman opening the vessel, lid over the vessel, and finding to his dismay only water. Right or wrong, our forefathers, for centuries, for generations, for yugas, it is a land which knows beyond Kali Yuga. It has seen several yugas. It has seen itihasas like the Ramayana in the Treta Yuga and the Mahabharata in the Dwapara Yuga. We have a long lineage, value, and culture. So all of them have taught us how to live a life. And they all in unison have said it is based on 4 fundamentals: dharma, artha, kama, and of course moksha. We'll talk about moksha some other time, because now you're all young aspirants, you to reach great goals in life. Now there are 4 elements in it. The 2 elements which is packaged between dharma and moksha is kama, artha and kama, earning wealth and exhausting your desires and pleasures in life. So there are 2 options available to each one of us. We can go in search of artha or wealth or resources or name, power, anything, and enjoy our desires without following dharma. That's one option. The second option is going in search of resources and enjoying the pleasures and pains of life on the rule book of dharma. Which of the 2 should we prefer? Mahabharata gives us the guideline. See, both the Pandavas and the Kauravas are royal kings. Both wanted to own kingdom. Both wanted to run their empires. Both wanted to become Chakravartis. What did Duryodhana do? He went in search of artha to quench his pleasures and desires, but never followed dharma. Whereas Dharmaraja and Arjuna and his brothers also went in search of resources, also fought wars, also enjoyed pleasures and pains of life, but after following the guidance of Bhagavan Krishna, following the path of dharma. So history evidences what can happen to a man or a family or a society or a nation if it opts the Duryodhana path or the Dharma Raja path. That's the option God gives to every one of us at every point of time. Now, you're all young minds and very inquiring minds. So, you're not going to accept this at the face value. Oh, those days are different, sir. Tell us today whether these principles are worthwhile practicing in 2022. Therefore, through the Bhagavad Gita, which is a text which has a relevance at every point of time, because it is not an emotional document, it's a logical, rational document. Colorless, casteless, religiousless, anybody can. It's for the human race in general. Now, Bhagavan Shri Krishna answers this question because at every point of time this question is asked. Because Mahabharata was what, 5,000 years ago? And the Ramayana war with the Rama and Ravana was fought in Treta Yuga. So this question kept coming again and again. So there's a standard answer in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, I'll give you the answer for both. If you go in search of Artha and quench your Kama, after following the path of Dharma, what will you get? If you don't follow the path, where will you finally land up in your life? At a late old age, where you can't set the clock back and think I could have done something else better. So let's take first. If someone doesn't want to go by Dharma and still search Artha and Kama, what will happen? Now, Krishna puts it in the following sequence. So, Kama is desire. First step, desire without Dharma. So, where will this lead you to? You have a burning desire and you are not going to follow the rules of the world. And therefore, you now step in to say, look here, I want my desires to be achieved, accomplished at any cost. Krishna says, such an attitude will slowly convert your mind. First, your mind will be affected. And you will become a deluded person. So, a desire without Dharma leads to the first stage of delusion. What do you mean by delusion? Delusion, the equivalent is moha. So, Kama without Dharma will transform us in our mind into a mind of moha, which means our mind is prepared to do anything reckless. Its delusion is only at the mind stage. It is yet to act. So, a non-dharmic desire will transform the mind. Look here, come what may, I have to get it. So, it slips you into the state of delusion. Once this delusion becomes stronger and stronger, Krishna says, it transforms you into demonic. You become a demon. Take the very case of Duryodhana. In those days, see, today's the rules of the game is you elect a minister or a prime minister through a process of franchise. This is democracy. In those days, in those yugas, king's children become king. So Duryodhana could not have attempted to become a king in terms of those rules. Whether right or wrong, let's not get into that. Those rules. But he aspired to become a Chakravarti. And because it is not dharmic, his mind first got deluded. The moha to become the king. Krishna says, once your mind gets diluted into moha, you will somehow get into a relationship with somebody who is crooked. You will get an opportunity to involve people who are crooked in life. And that's how Duryodhana came into contact with Shakuni. Duryodhana plus Shakuni, moha plus crookedness transforms your mind into a demonic mind. What are the difference between a demonic mind and a delusion? Demonic mind is the state where you start to act. You will start to implement your moha somehow. Find the crooked ways. See, take the Mahabharata again, the Varana Vadam. What did Duryodhana conceive for Pandavas? He said, go and pray to your family. We should go and pray to your family deity before you become the royal king, the Chakravarti. So he ensured a palace of wax is prepared. It's a new palace I've created for you. Please go and stay there. So Kunti with the Pandavas go and stay there. And it's, if you burn wax, what will be left? Nothing will be left. Only ashes. But knowing fully well this plan, Vithura, through someone, helps and ensures a tunnel is created, and he indicates this in his own style. Vithura is one of the classic characters in Mahabharata. And therefore, Kunti and the Pandavas escape that wrath of death. But what does Kunti say? This is exactly what she said to the Pandavas. Look here, Duryodhana has turned demonic. Now let him feel that he has succeeded. Let's not show up our faces to the world now. Let's allow Duryodhana to enjoy his success as though we are killed. Let's live in the hiding for a while till his temperament comes down. Strategy in life. So, delusion transforms you into a demonic mind. And remember, demonic mind, acts done in a demonic way will give you short success, will give you immediate success. But someone will eventually embrace defeat. That is what happened to Duryodhana. Finally, he didn't succeed in his endeavor. So when he came to know that the Pandavas are alive, Krishna says, your demonic act leading to defeat will agitate your mind and make you more and more desperate. Desperation. And desperation will transform you into a person of deceit. You will start deceiving. It will lead you to deceit. The moment somebody becomes very deceitful, this is a stage. See, God gives you an opportunity to return back at every stage. But we don't. The mind will influence you to go forward because you are succeeding somewhere in some way, big or small. So you feel that you can trigger it more, you can escalate it more and spread this question of delusion everywhere. So your desperation leads you to deceit. And Krishna says, once you reach the state of deceit, your downfall is certain thereafter. It leads to destruction. All are D's: desire, delusion, demonic, defeat, desperation, deceit, then downfall, disaster, or destroy, whatever you may call it. Is it true or not, going by the storyline of Mahabharata? Now the question is, all right, sir, what if we have to practice Dharma? What are the components of dharma. Krishna therefore helps us to understand how do we become a practitioner of dharma. He says, you have a body, you have a mind, you have a buddhi or intellect, you have a heart. Everyone is blessed. Every human being is blessed with all the four. Therefore, Krishna says, fill your heart with selfless love. Start focusing on your heart. Let your heart not be rigid. Let it not be inflexible. Let it be filled with love. Treat the world, however deceitful the world will be, don't bother about it. See, these are these secret points for success. Big time achievers have followed this, and go and ask them. People who have outclassed everybody in success and recognition and power, they've all followed this path. So fill your heart with love. It's the first step. Fill your mind with courage. See, for a young lawyer, you need not be very educated. You need not be very talented. You need not be a genius. You must have determination, courage, and perseverance to learn. Fill your mind with this courage, determination, and perseverance. You will, if you build this strength in you, you will not go the wrong way. The courage in your mind will prevent you from doing wrong things. People who commit deceit, if you go very close to them, they will actually be very fearful people. Whereas a practitioner of dharma will be a fearless person. His courage or her courage will be of a different order. That's a gift God gives to that person. So fill your mind with courage. Ultimately, it's the intellect, buddhi, which plays all the role. Krishna says, fill your buddhi with righteousness and truthfulness. Stay committed to being righteous. Stay committed to being very truthful. Then allow your body to do its duty as a lawyer. Prepare yourself with your heart, mind, and buddhi, and use this God-given precious gift of a human body to step in. If you have all the three in place, you will transform your professional effort into a very, very focused, dutiable effort. It's a natural consequence of your body. Your body will be ready to work. Your body will be ready to sweat. Your body will remain very focused. So if you have these four together in one place, Krishna says, I'll give you two things. Four put together, the icing on the cake on the top will be the dharmic output of your life. Whatever you do with this four will end up in dharmic results, in dharmic actions. But these four forms the trunk, and dharma forms the leaves, fruits, whatever you can call. So the question is, what is the source of it? What are the roots of this process? Krishna says, if you have this four trunk, which will be icing in the cake as dharma, remember, it has to remain eternal. So there will be a root to it. What is the root for all the four? Compassion. You will be a very tolerant, a very patient, and a very compassionate person, and not a restless, reckless person. This world can move in dharma. This world can, unless you are compassionate, you would not have poured 100 milliliters of milk into that. It is for somebody. You don't have compassion, you pour water into it. And if everyone starts to pour water into that vessel, into public life, into society, into the world, what will happen to the world which you want to live next 50, 60 years, 70 years? So you have to prepare the world for yourself. Start it from you, says Krishna. So he gives you the dispensation. If you follow dharma, it leads you to a strong mind, a righteous buddhi, a heart filled with love, and a compassion, an ever compassionate person you would be. And all of them will always lead you into the path of dharma. Whether you want it, if you have these four, it will truck you only into the path of dharma. It cannot take you anywhere else. As deceit, disaster, delusion takes you to a different path, every road takes you somewhere to a destination. So young minds have an option either to follow that route of Duryodhana or this route of dharma. If you follow the route of Dharma Raja, Krishna will be by your side. If you follow the route of Duryodhana, you will find more and more friends in the form of Shakunis. So opt your life, you want Shakunis or you want Krishna. Choice is yours. No compulsion. I thought I'll just close down in another 5 minutes. Let me also give you a few tips for your professional life, because last time I did speak on a different range of ideas on young minds. Debasis were very particular. A lot of young minds are going to be hearing this, and therefore you can please convey a message to the more. He's right. He's right, and I'm very thankful to Debasis that, see, all of us have children, so all of us now think only about you all than us or our generation. So, few carry-on tips as a professional. One, never get into any comparison trap. You are what you are, somebody is what they are. One of the leading senior counsels said this to me a few days back when we were together somewhere in a matter. Venkatramana, see, whether it's an architect or whether it's a doctor or any profession, all of them will be doing their work in their places. Whereas court is the only place all the professionals assemble in one place, in one particular building. So we see each other. So the tendency to compare is enormous. Very natural truth. Don't get into this trap. You are what you are. Be very happy about what you are doing, rather than feeling sad as what you have not done and somebody else is doing. You will neither appreciate him or her, nor feel happy about yourself. So don't do that. 2, you have to stay on course and you should be respected, and therefore you can be wherever needed, you can push yourself and assert, this is what I want to convey. But never be arrogant, either to your friends in the court or to your opponent when you argue the matter or with the judge. 3, strategy to every case is very, very important. I'll just give you one example again from Mahabharata. See, Vidura had a boom. Vidura was such a great warrior. Nobody knows. He was always considered as the best advisor. His ability to think on dharma. Vidura is one character who has always stayed in dharma. He never, because he's Yamadharma's avatar. So he never strayed away in life. He can be defeated only by Mahavishnu. So only Krishna could have killed Vidura if Vidura decides to join the war. But Krishna's vow is he is not going to take any weapons So he is not going to fight the battle. That's the commitment by Krishna. So if Krishna is not going to fight a war, then nobody can kill Vidura if he's going to come to the war field. So what is the strategy? When Krishna goes as an emissary to the Kauravas for peace mediation, he chooses to stay with Vidura. He didn't stay in the palace, saying that I've come here for mediation with you. I can't stay with you. I'll go and stay with Vidura. Now Duryodhana starts suspecting Vidura by his nature, with his crooked combination of Shakuni. So the next day or a few days later, a heated discussion breaks out between Vidura and Duryodhana. And Vidura says, I am giving up my weapons. I am not going to fight this war. I will return only after the war is over. And he moves out. Strategy. You just go and stay there and ensure that he is eliminated from the war. Strategies are very, very important for a lawyer. When you start doing big matters, this is very important. Then next, always speak less. Except in court, avoid speaking anywhere else. Because court corridors carry ears. Never stay and loiter in the veranda. Never stay in the tea stall or canteen and start chatting about yourself, others, judges, cases, clients. Speak only in court and speak very less outside. It's a very important temperament. 3, and last, when you start doing, see, lawyers' life is, today you'll be on the rooftop, next day you'll be biting the dust. So success and failure is part of lawyer's life. When you lose a case, learn to lose it with dignity. Don't fight with a judge at any point of time. 2 things. You will confront worthy opponents, unworthy opponents. You will confront everybody has to face hurdles in life. When you realize somebody cannot be controlled at all, don't attempt to control that event or that person in your life. That's a test you have to pass. Leave it there. He is uncontrollable towards you, you leave it there. Allow things to happen. Don't attempt. Never try to fight a powerful person in the system. These are words of Alkiwala. Never fight institutions and people who are in power. It's a lesson you have to learn. If you fight, you can never win a powerful person, you can never win an institution. You as an individual will ultimately get crushed. So you have to be very prudent there. And the final message which I thought I leave with this. As lawyers, we are bound to face obstacles, and as lawyers, we are bound to face enemies in life. And the only way to get over that is as long as you fight just causes, and as long as you fight it with a selfless motive of duty spirit, God is there to you can't eliminate enemies or obstacles. It's not possible in a lawyer's life. But God will act as an obstacle to ensure these obstacles and these enemies do ward off in life, and you will be able to carry on what you want.